Every diaspora journey begins somewhere. In part 1, we met the people whose journeys began with an acceptance letter, a job offer, an au pair program, or adventure. But not every journey begins with a plan written on paper. Some begin with a heartbeat, a conversation, a family decision, or a dream that belongs to someone else. These are the roads that no one expects, yet millions of people travel every day. It usually starts so simple, with a message, followed by coffee, then a holiday, a friendship. Suddenly, you're learning more than each other's favorite food. Then one day, you realize the other person lives on the other side of a border. Before you know it, you're looking at visa requirements. The visits soon turn into residence permits. You start wondering why supermarkets close so early on Sundays and public holidays. One application later, you're explaining your hometown to relatives you've never met in a language you're still learning. Love has a funny habit. It never asks whether you're ready to move countries. It simply asks, "Are you coming?" The funny part? You thought you were getting a partner. Instead, you also inherited another country, new traditions, new laws, new family traditions, and enough in-laws to make every Christmas an international summit. But sometimes, you aren't the one who gets the opportunity. You're simply the person who chooses to follow it. I came because they came. Another lover claims, not every suitcase is packed for your own dream. Sometimes, it's packed for someone else's. Your partner gets a job offer, a scholarship, a promotion, an opportunity too good to ignore. And just like that, their next chapter quietly becomes yours too. You leave behind familiar streets, favorite cafes, family dinners, not because you had planned to, but because sometimes love means believing in someone else's future before you've even dreamt of your own. The surprising part? You arrive in a foreign country thinking you're supporting their dream, only to wake up a year later. You've built one of your own. You find work, you make friends, you discover your favorite bakery. You start calling two places home. The funniest part? You moved because of their opportunity. Now people ask if they'd ever move back. Yet, not every journey begins with your own decision. Sometimes the decision has already been made by the people you love. Journey 2, Family Reunification. Sometimes diaspora chooses you. Not everyone discovers their own opportunity. Occasionally, the greatest opportunity belongs to someone you love. And sometimes, the journey doesn't begin with romance at all. It begins with family. A parent, a partner, a child, a brother, a sister, or an aging grandparent who needs support. You don't move for opportunity. You move because the people you love are already there. Once in a while, the strongest pull isn't a career. It is belonging. With the people who already call that place home. The funny thing, you spend months researching the requirements, only to spend the next few years trying to understand the country's tax system. And somewhere between family dinners and government paperwork, you realize something. Home isn't always the place you left. Sometimes, it's where the people you love are waiting. Occasionally, for others, home isn't chosen by family at all. It's built one business, one client, and one opportunity at a time. The entrepreneur/remote worker. I realized my office could be anywhere. Not everyone moves because a company hires them. Some create their own opportunity, a freelance project, an online business, a small cafe, a consulting firm, a tech startup, or a dream that simply refused to fit inside one country. The plan? Work from anywhere. Stay for a few months, see the world, move on, simple. Until your favorite bakery knows your coffee order. The local retailer greets you by name. You discover the best street market. You find your community. And suddenly, you're no longer working while traveling. You're simply living there. The funny part? You left your office behind, only to discover that home isn't where your desk is. It's where your Wi-Fi password has become muscle memory. And then there are the people who don't really fit into any category at all. They simply can't explain how any of this happened. Ask them how they became diaspora, and they'll probably laugh before answering. While their story doesn't have one defining moment, it has 100 tiny ones. Journey 5. The Accidental Diaspora. Every diaspora community has one. The person who still says, "I'm only here temporarily." They've been saying it for the last 8 years. It started with a conference, a short contract, a visit, or just a few months. Suddenly, an opportunity opened up. One visa renewal became another. Without much thought, they rented an apartment, bought a bed, opened a bank account. Then somehow, they started arguing with friends about recycling rules and complaining about the local weather like they'd lived there forever. And one day, they looked around and realized they'd built a whole life. The funniest part, they still tell people back home, "I'm not staying long." We often ask, "How did you end up abroad?" Maybe that's the wrong question. The better question is, who did the journey help you become? Because countries may change, addresses and plans certainly change, but every journey leaves something behind, somewhere between departures, arrivals, and all the unexpected turns in between. We don't just build a life in another country, we build another version of ourselves, and every story like that is worth telling, one journey at a time. Because becoming diaspora is never the end of the journey. It's the beginning of a deeper and personal one, the kind you only understand when you've lived it. And that story, the one beneath the surface, starts next. Welcome to Mazillion. Thank you for your time. If you've ever lived outside your hometown or home country, parts of these journeys may feel quietly familiar. And if you're planning to migrate, these series are there to guide, prepare, and to remind you that you're not walking alone. Please follow and share with someone in your community. That's how we learn, grow, and build together.